Hello, how's it going? I hope you're well. I'm just trying to put an Instagram story up, but it doesn't like it. You are here already. You are so fast. Hope you're really well. Very, very busy day. I enjoy this hardcore three three lives in a row. Is very interesting. Actually, I was on Hello earlier as well, so today's gonna be 4 live sessions in a row. So I'm excited about that. But today we're talking about relationship phrasal verbs. Very romantic topic. Are you a fan of romance? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Are you a fan of romance? Basically, it's the same question as, are you a romantic person? Okay, so I'm just putting that in the comments so you can have a browse and tell me in the comments, are you a fan of romance or are you a romantic person? Hiya, thanks for joining. Great to have you here. I appreciate it. Maybe some of you were in my Instagram live earlier. I had a chat with some students, about different things. Especially today was all about the perfect personality. Is there such a thing? Don't know. Well, Rebecca is a romantic person. That's great. Me too, actually. I'm a big fan of romance personally. So yes. Pearl says she doesn't know about relationships. Okay, that's great. Good evening. Great to see you. So great to see you here. So today we're talking about romance. No, we're not. We're talking about relationship phrasal verbs. Okay, and I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you a little time to try and give it a go yourself. Tell me what you think it is. Then we'll do some examples. Okay. First thing, I put in a question. Are you a fan of romance? Are you a romantic person? Tell me, and then we'll go. Whilst you're waiting, if you're a bit bored, tell me, and then we can have a conversation about that as well. So first is just looking at my notes. What does it mean to, something easy maybe, ask somebody out? We'll start off with an easier one. Ask somebody out. What does it mean? What does it mean? Do you know? To ask somebody out. It's a very important one, especially for relationships. Ask for a date. Yeah, that's right. To begin. It's the start of the relationship, isn't it? It's one of the most important ones. The exact definition I wrote down was, just to invite someone for a date. You got it. Spot on. Great. 1, 2 people who got it. That's fantastic. So how can we use it in a sentence? How can we use it in a sentence? What do you think? So you could say, you wouldn't necessarily say, can I ask you out on a date? That does sometimes get used, but it's a little unnatural. It doesn't feel, how can I say, it doesn't feel like it rolls off the tongue. You probably would more likely to say, do you fancy coming out on such and such day? Do you fancy coming out? Do you fancy going out with me somewhere? So do you fancy coming out for a Zoom meeting? You could do it. It's possible. But yeah, you could say that. And this is actually kind of, maybe in some cultures, like someone's mentioned, is too forward. But actually, it's very, very common in England for sure. This is the way we start conversations and relationships. So yeah, sure, I can write for you. So do you fancy? So that's super British already. Do you fancy coming out with me on such and such? You fancy coming out with me on such and such? Let's go for a beer. Let's go to the movies. So yeah, let's have a romantic Zoom meeting together. I'll cook dinner, you cook dinner, we'll eat together. What do you think? Maybe we should do that one day. That'd be a cool Zoom meeting, wouldn't it? Everyone cooks their dinner, brings it along, and we're eating. Maybe not. Maybe it's not a good idea. But yeah, we could do something like that, couldn't we? Okay, great. Nice job. I'm going to give you a new question to think about, okay? A new question to think about, which is, how important is the first impression? How important is the first impression? So what do you think? I'd love to know. Tell me in the comments. How important, or that's not good, is it, Stu? I need to probably fix that. Should be all right. How important is the first impression? What do you think? As in, when you first meet someone, how important is the first impression that you have of someone else? If someone comes up to you, picking their nose, is that a good impression to have? What do you think? How important is the first impression? I'd love to know. What do you think? And whilst you're pondering that one, yes, we met the first time, that moment, best and memorable. Yeah, that's true. It can be. It can be both, couldn't it? It could be the most best and memorable time. It could also be the worst moment, couldn't it? And especially if you put a bit of pressure on yourself, you want to meet someone that you really like, and then it doesn't go according to plan, that could suck, can't it? So it can be both sides, you know, it could be both sides. Sometimes that first impression moment, we can get really nervous, you know, can't we? And it can go not the way we plan, and we show things that we never normally do. It's just we get a bit nervous, especially if it's someone you want to have a relationship with. But what do you think the phrasal verb hit it off with someone? Hiya, Thunder. To hit it off with someone. What do you think that means? Hit it off with someone. This is my third YouTube live. The other two felt a little awkward, I'm not going to lie. Just speaking to a screen is really weird, but I do it all the time. I don't know what was wrong the last two times, but YouTube has its own added pressure. So it's kind of like a conversation, you know. The first time you have a conversation with your friend may feel fine, but then the pressure upgrades when you meet someone you don't know, and then you talk to your boss in English, you know, and all this kind of thing. I said, hello, pal. You're the first person. What are you talking about? Hey. So to hit it off with someone, what do you think? So to hit it off with someone, it means to get on with someone straight away, like through that first meeting. That's why yes, that's very good, Catherine J. To like someone instantly. And the definition that I've written down, oh, someone sent me a message. To have a great connection, or that's a nice phrase. To have, I didn't write down the last definition, sorry about that, but to have a great connection with someone immediately. Sometimes you do, don't you? You meet someone for the first time and it's just like, there we go, we're in the zone there. You just had the same personality and it just matches, doesn't it? Very, very nicely. Thank you, Nendi, I appreciate that. You know, sometimes you just click. Exactly. Sometimes you do, you just click and you connect and you're just like, this is perfect, isn't it? Like, where have you been all my life? That's what I'm thinking of you guys, obviously, all the time. But yeah, exactly that. It is exactly that. So that's a really nice one to know, to hit it off with someone. So I'm going to give you another question. I'm liking the questions in between each phrasal verb. For me, it doesn't make me feel so awkward. So let's give it a try. Okay, here we go. What are some parts? Let's say what are some good personality traits? What's some good personality traits for you? What do you think? We just did, I just did an Instagram live all about this subject. I'm interested to know what are some good personality traits for you. It doesn't work for everyone, but for many people it could do. So what do you think? What are some good personality traits for you? For me, honesty and loyalty. Good sense of humor is a good one for me. Actually, not so much, I don't know if it's so much personality, but I like someone who has a good smile or a good laugh. But I think that connects to personality. Whilst that's physical, I think that it really connects to personality, because if you don't have if you're a grumpy person, it's very unlikely you're going to have a good smile and a beautiful laugh, you know. But it could surprise someone, couldn't it? It could be. Okay, What have we got in the comments here? We got honesty and loyalty, which is a great one. Great too, sorry. A good sense of humor is good. I agree with that one. Friendly is very important, isn't it? Being polite, yes. Kind and supportive. Supportive is a great word. I love that. Definitely supportive. And then to be silly, yeah, I think that's one of those ones. Depends on the person a bit more. You know, some people are not interested in that, but I think you have to have a bit of time where you can relax with another person, and where the other person understands your personality well enough that you can make like a comment, or you can say something, or you can do something a bit different to normal, and it fits both people. So that's a really good one. Being funny, someone that you can talk to easily or easily get along with, yeah, for sure, 100%. And loyalty, yeah, is an important one, I think. Okay, that's great. So let's go on to our next phrasal verb, which is a bit on the other side this time. To split up. What do you think that means? To split up, giving time to each and others. Yeah, that's good. To respect each other and respect each other's time is very important. What do you think split up means? A bit different to the ones we've already done. I'm always angry before you know me, but after you've known me, you'll think I'm silly. Yeah, well, you know that's interesting to know. For sure. I think I've never seen you angry, so no worries. Yeah. Maybe you just feel. Sometimes we feel those things about ourselves, don't we? Break up. You got it. You got it in one. To end a relationship. Split up. Break up is the same. Split up slash break up. I'm gonna put them together. To end a relationship. That's right. So, for example, again, not one. Sometimes, yeah, it does come up in the conversation when it happens. Oh, I'm splitting up with you. Oh, I'm breaking up with you. I'm breaking away from you. Maybe as well, but I'm ending it. I'm ending it is a good one as well. That could have two meanings, so you have to be careful with that one. I'm ending it now could be another way to say that you're ending the relationship. But the problem with this one is it has two meanings. So it could also mean that you're gonna kill yourself. So be careful. Where you use that one is very important. So watch out for that one. To suggest that you're gonna finish things. But yeah, I'm ending it is very, very common, very natural phrase to use. Yes, you would use it directly. I think especially in relationships with people who like to say things to people's faces. I think there's different styles. People who don't feel comfortable saying to another person's face, but definitely these phrases get used very commonly in England, and maybe it's different elsewhere. But we use very finalizing words, finalizing terms like this to split up. I'm splitting up with you. I don't want to be with you anymore, or something like this. That's probably the most natural. That's really strong if you think about it. But I don't want to be with you anymore. It's something you could hear for sure. But it sounds super strong, doesn't it? In my country, it's I'm breaking up with you. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm tired of you. Let's split up. I'm tired of you. I've heard that before. Not to me, luckily. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm not. But I've heard this phrase used before. I'm tired of that person. I'm tired of that person. Yeah. Sorry, I've been speaking for like 2 or 3 hours. So I don't want to lead you on. Now that's a nice one. That's a bit softer, I think, because that's the lead up to saying that you want to finish. This isn't working out is another one as well. But I think the thing is, because of the situation, actually any of these can sound very final. Whilst they're softer, like I don't want to lead you on, it's leading up to that point where you say, and because it can have such an effect on someone, when you split up with them, you know, the closeness of the relationship, whether they're expecting it or not. Regardless really of what you say, it sounds very final and finished. So it can be, even though we have these, sometimes we have this like levels. You can say something softer like, this isn't working out as well. I like that. But like I say, it can really, it just because of that situation, it could definitely go, it's not you. That's a good, it's me. Yeah, that's a good one as well. That's super popular. It's not you, it's me. But it is you as well, by the way. You know, so yeah, it can seem a bit strong. But I think we are a lot more forward, definitely in England, where we say these kind of phrases that sound a bit strong. I can imagine why. Okay, next question for you guys. I'd love to know. Oops, I've done something there. What do you think is a bad personality trait? What's a bad personality trait to you? What do you think? A bad personality trait where it's so bad where you have to use that phrase. Actually, it's not me, it's you. Or it's not me, it's you. It's the opposite, isn't it? That's even worse. Impatient. You think you're impatient. Ooh, okay. But you think that impatience is a negative? I think we all have an element of that. Things come at us a lot faster. We expect things faster these days. So the level of patience is a bit different to maybe what it was, say, 5 years ago. It's an interesting one. So I think maybe there's many different ones, isn't there? Cheater, violent person. Violent person is possibly is difficult. Obviously, the person who's violent, that's like physical, but cheating can be emotional. A nervous person is an interesting one. Constantly lying. Constantly. I like the word constantly there because I brought that up last time in the live on Instagram, that sometimes you have to say a lie to protect the other person. It's not like it's not, how can I say that? If you're like super sick and you don't want the other person to worry about you, then maybe in that situation you are a bit more, you have to say something that is maybe sounds negative, but it's not intentional that it's negative, like a lie, but you're trying to protect the other person. That happens, especially with kids, that's another relationship that we need to think about. Like with kids, we often say what we call white lies, something that's not strong, but has like is still not completely true, to protect them, especially at a younger age. Judgmental. I think we all judge at some point, though, don't we? But not intentionally. It's just our experience builds up to that stage where when we meet someone, we assume sometimes, and again, we try not to, but because of experience, especially if you've had a negative experience with a previous partner, an ex-partner, and you see the same things happening with the next person, you assume something. I think like we do this, unfortunately. But yeah, I think someone who constantly judges, that's a good one. Someone who just takes someone for granted, that's a good one. Yeah, as well. I think that's a really important one. Controlling. Oh yeah, good one. We had a nice word earlier, clingy. Clingy is a really nice word. The action is not necessarily nice to everyone, but someone who is constantly wants to know what the person's doing, always saying, like, constantly saying I love you, whilst that isn't necessarily a terrible thing, but some people don't like that obsessive behavior. Obsessive is a nice word as well. Oppressive as well. Overthinking and believing someone very easily. So gullible is a nice one for sure. Gullible is it's a bit strong, I suppose, but yeah, is in that situation. Okay, so that was a question. So let's go to the next one, which is going to be, this is a nice one. Drift apart. Do you know what drift apart means? What do you think? To drift apart from someone. Over possessiveness. Yeah, exactly. That's clingy. Clingy and over possessiveness are the same. Well, they're similar. They're not exactly the same, but they're similar, aren't they? They're very close together. So what do you think drift apart means? That is definitely the end for sure. They are not together. You got it. That is definitely the end side of that. What do you think it mean? Like, it's not quite what I've got down, how I would define it. It's like for me, it's to slowly lose interest in each other. When two people slowly lose interest in each other. Kind of, I think that sometimes we rush into relationships now, don't we, in general, and then people slowly drift apart. Like things change in their lifestyles, the way that we operate, and the way we mature as people. And some people who are together for a long period of time, especially from school age, because we mature differently. I think this happens quite a lot in those situations where you drift apart from someone. When you were younger, you really like them, but then when they're older, as you get older, you realize your personalities don't match. You're going in different directions and you drift apart. So yeah, you split up eventually. To emotionally be distant towards each other. So yeah, eventually it definitely gets to that stage, but you could say that at any point of that process. So I'd love to know. Next question for you guys is a very good one. A very good one. I wonder how honest you guys are. Can you say sorry even when you are wrong? What do you think? Can you say sorry even when you're wrong? It's a very interesting one. It's a very personal question, actually. I think it's can be very difficult. Depends on your relationship with the person, how long you've been together, how well you know the person. Yes, I do. I always say sorry. Yes, everyone's saying yes. This is interesting. You're all very nice people. For sure. If that will stop annoying fight. I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? Hiya, Toboki. I mean, it's a really interesting one to say sorry even when you're wrong. It can be very tough at times because sometimes depends on the gravity of the situation, like how important the situation is. It's a tough one. For me, I always think like there is no point in continuing an argument because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. You know, it could be something terrible could happen tomorrow to the people that you're with. And over some silly argument, there's no point in continuing it. So I often am like, oh yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It is what it is. It is what it is. It doesn't matter, and you can't change what's happened. So might as well just apologize. It's over with then, you know. But there are some people that can't understand that they are wrong, so they blame you. Yeah, that happens for sure. But I think eventually, when you meet the right person, both people counteract. Like even if they know they're wrong or the other person's wrong, they can fix the problem because the long-term effect is not worth it, is it? You know, so it's an interesting one. So to go on from that, then to make up with someone. What does that mean? What do you think? To make up with someone. To make up with someone. Oh, this is one I've just come up with. I haven't even written this one down. To have a snog. Okay. What else? That one's a little different. That one's to make out. To make out with someone is when you snog or you kiss or snog someone. You're very close. I don't know anyone. Sorry, I'm just a lonely teacher on the other side of a camera, I'm afraid. Make up, yeah, make up, not make out. Make out equals kiss or snog, however you want to redefine that. To make up That's right. To reconcile the relationship. You're doing it to yourself. To reconcile the relationship. That's right. You have to fix the problems. To fix it so that everything's back to normal. Yeah, that's right. So it's important, isn't it? That leads very nicely from the previous question. I'm on fire today. These are nice and smooth transitions. So we've got about 5 minutes left. So let me give you one more question. Reconcile just means to be friends again. To mend any wounds. So my last question for you guys is going to be, okay, maybe this is difficult. Do things change? No, I'm going to change. Because that one's too difficult. Maybe only I can answer that. So, yo, nice to see you, Infant News Chica. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate that. Do you think you need to compromise in a relationship? Do you think you need to compromise in a relationship? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know. Do you think you need to compromise in a relationship? When I say compromise, that doesn't look correct. I need to check that spelling. Compromise should be H, isn't it? Compromise. Let me rewrite that. Sorry about that. Yes. To adjust. Yes, I think so. Sorry, I'm writing fast and my keys get a bit sticky. My computer's super old. My kids spill stuff on it. So yes, but not too much. I can understand that point of view 1000%. I think like we have to have, some people literally just agree with the other person. So in that circumstance, are they actually happy? I don't know. It's a bit difficult, isn't it? You have to have a bit of resilience as well. So it's a really interesting one, isn't it? You do need to have like a bit of compromise though. You can't always expect the perfect person from the other person. You know, we have good days, bad days, etc. Yes, compromise to make up relationship. What is the meaning of compromise? So like, I believe in this, but the other person doesn't. You have to agree in the middle. Compromise is important so both sides can be satisfied. Yeah, 100%. We shouldn't lose our personality as well. That's important. Yeah, a lot, because you are not like the other person, so you have to accept those things also which you don't like. So yeah, we shouldn't lose our personality. It's true. Are you guys willing to compromise your own beliefs for them? What do we mean by beliefs? Ooh, it's a really difficult one. Religious beliefs, or just your philosophy? Let's call it your philosophy. Do you mean your philosophy, like how you deal with things in life, and if you think this is right or wrong? That's a really great question. I like it a lot. Nice job. What do you think, guys? Would you compromise your philosophy, your own philosophy about life, the way you think things go? Thank you very much, Saboki. I'll try my best to be. Sometimes, to build a strong relationship, it should be based on compromise. Yeah, it has to be some give and take. But what about things that you really believe in? Like, for example, animal cruelty. How about the other person doesn't think it's a problem? Do you compromise there? What do you think? I think that you can have your own belief. Personally, I think you can have your own belief that doesn't match the other person, but something that's strong like that, maybe that creates a problem in the relationship, doesn't it? But I think you can have your own separate beliefs in certain areas and go, so you can still have a bit of individuality for your own life, but you compromise on important matters that affect the relationship. You know, for example, should we spend money today? Or something like this. Can we pay for this holiday really? Or something like this, you know. So I think there's like a in the middle, isn't there? Let's do one last phrasal verb for today. This has been really great, guys. I really appreciate your time. So let's leave with a nice one. Okay, here we go. To jerk someone around. What does that mean? That's a great, I love that. It's a really nice one. Sometimes, like when I'm researching, when I'm checking about for this content, because I want to give you proper definitions for everything and give you the right info. Well, I have my own definitions of things. We know we all have our own opinionated definition on things, but I like to give like the exact information that you'd find in the dictionary, and then some phrases, because I've lived in Japan for nearly 6 years, 5 to 6 years. Some phrases I just completely forget about because I don't use. They're not in my active vocabulary. I'm not surrounded by them anymore, and this is one of them. It's great. To be unfair to someone, to be a cheater. This kind of goes to what some of you said earlier, I see. It really is. The basis of it is to manipulate someone. The person doing it might be dishonest, it might be true, but it's basically to use someone for your own gain. They don't win in the situation, only you do. So that is someone who jerks around another person. Yes. So thank you so much for your time, guys. I really appreciate it. This 30 minutes has flown by today. I like this format, putting the questions in, getting your responses. You put in so many great responses in the chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your time on that one. And I've got to, unfortunately, because I'm going live on Hello now in 10 minutes. So I need some form of a break. Otherwise, it's going to be 3 hours of sweating. You know, you don't want to see a sweaty stew, trust me. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you soon, okay? Ciao.